At this time, we are witnessing countless people going bankrupt. The baby boomers are the biggest group, in fact. It seems as though we will encounter a major issue in the future when the pensions are slashed and the debt rises considerably. Who will come to the rescue? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today I have a very important topic, and that is bankruptcy, in particular, the baby boomer demographic. I'm going to talk about the pension funds. I'm going to talk about poverty and retirement and what you should be doing with your money. Let's begin by taking a look at this article. I'm going to show you some charts today. This is the New York Times. For a rapidly growing share of older Americans, traditional ideas about life and retirement are being upended by a dismal reality: bankruptcy. A topic that I really want to cover and a lot of people shy away from. However, it needs to be said. So let's talk about this here. The signs of potential trouble: vanishing pensions, soaring medical expenses, inadequate savings have been building for years. Now, new research sheds light on the scope of the problem. The rate of people 65 and older filing for bankruptcy is, believe it or not, 3 times what it was in 1991, and the same group accounts for a far greater share of all filers. Basically meaning if you're 65 and older, you're more likely to retire, more likely to go bankrupt, than those in other groups. Now, this here is quite surprising. A lot of people think that, hey, their expenses are lower, they've probably saved up money, they got their Social Security, and so on. That's not the case. Driving the surge, this study suggests, is a 3-decade shift of financial risk from government and employers to individuals who are bearing an ever greater responsibility for their own financial well-being as the social safety net shrinks. What's interesting about this is that nobody is prepared. That's very, very hard to deal with for a lot of people. We're talking about individuals who have no source of income or just a trickle, and yet their expenses are still relatively high. And guess what? Those expenses are going to increase as the years go on. They're not coming down. So how do you get an individual who has no money saved up or not enough money saved up, and they basically don't have any assets to be able to survive? We've got an issue, and there's not going to be a helping hand. There's not going to be an angel coming down and saying, here's a whole bunch of money. You need to get a handle of this right now. The transfer has come in the form, among other things, longer waits for the Social Security benefits, the replacement of employer-provided pensions, 401k savings plans, and more out-of-pocket spending on healthcare. Declining incomes, whether in retirement or leading up to it, compounds this challenge. Now, what are you going to do about this when you have a 401k? Now, this is going to be my opinion here for a moment. These 401ks will eventually evaporate. So it's a very good idea. It's a wise move to be able to take that and manage it yourself. I'm not going to tell you exactly where to put your money, but at least put it into your own hands, because then you are responsible. Not another person, not a bank, not a group of individuals. It's all on you. And that's what needs to happen. You need to educate yourself, not once in a while, not that you read a book and you feel very confident. You need to be learning every single day. Keep your eyes on the markets. Just generally spend a little bit of time every day. Instead of reading the newspaper and look at the celebrity news, sports news, we need to also be able to handle our own finances. It's such an important part of our life, whether we like it or not. So why not spend some time learning about it? And you don't need to be so experienced and be a financial guru or something to be able to learn what to do with your money. You just need the basics, and you need to find somebody who's going to remove the jargon. I'm trying to do that, but I know there's a lot of other people out there probably who are able to remove the jargon for the average individual. I'm always thinking about it from the average individual standpoint. So definitely find someone that you can align with that can help you on the right track, but you need to be into it every day. You have to be responsible. Okay, so these are a few charts that I'm going to show you here. Just going to touch on them very quickly. At the top, Medicare beneficiaries out-of-pocket spending by age, and below is the Medicare beneficiaries out-of-pocket spending by income. And what we can see clearly is that the older you get, unfortunately, it's just going to drive up the costs. Very clear to me. Okay, I'll end that Bankruptcy filings per 1,000 people by age. It's very obvious to me. The older you get, apparently, the more bankruptcies per 1,000 people. This is a very significant trend that has been happening here from 65 to 74. It's up 200% in the time frame, 91 to 2016. And 55 to 64 is also up significantly. That's really going against what a lot of people believe, that those baby boomers, they're receiving all these paychecks, they're able to pay all their bills and things. It couldn't be further from the truth, at least based on this chart. Looking at this next one, share of homeowners with a mortgage, and then at the bottom, share of families with credit card debt by age of head of household. This is just some more data. I wanted to show you that, but I want to move on and just touch on it quickly. Percent of U.S. bankruptcy filers by age cohort. That very clear to me right here. I'll just circle this. As soon as we get to this 55 to 64 point, the amount of people filing bankruptcy becomes very, very considerable. And it wasn't until after the financial crisis that this really accelerates. Okay, a lot of people are experiencing these bankruptcies, and how are they ever going to get out of this mess? Unfortunately, they won't. They won't. Because it's a perpetual thing. It's constant. It's never ending. So by the way, the numbers from those charts, from all of this, comes from this paper, which I will include in the sources and the description, as with all of my other videos. I think that we've got a problem on our hands, and it is very obvious to me what needs to be done. People need to take control of their own finances. Let me give you some quick things to watch out for. Okay, this is not advice. This is what I would do in this situation. Okay, so I've got income coming in, let's say, okay, whatever it is, you know, it's $1,000, it's $3,000. I'm going to save as much as I possibly can. I'm not going to buy my lunch. I'm not going to buy a coffee. I'm going to take everything I can from home to bring it to work to save money. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. If I want to have fun, it's summertime right now. You can go outside. You can enjoy yourself and go for walks. You don't need to go places and spend lots of money. Okay, so number one is just trying to conserve and save and still enjoy. There's something very enjoyable about going outside, being able to just enjoy nature, especially in the summertime where we're at right now. And it's pretty obvious to me that you don't need to necessarily spend money to have a great time. So that's all. Save money in every possible way you can. Now, where your money is at is very key as far as I'm concerned. If it's with a financial advisor, you need to be talking to that individual regularly. You need to be annoying that person and asking the right questions. How do you know the questions to ask? Well, you need to keep educated, of course. So what I would say is that if they're managing your money, this is probably the worst thing you could possibly do. If you're in the US, depends on where you live, right? If you're in the US, something like an IRA, a self-directed IRA, allows you to have so much control. My personal belief is that we shouldn't hold on to paper assets because it's too risky. But if you want to keep it in there, that's fine. I would just recommend to have the maximum amount of passive income. That's what you need. If you can get it into something that produces a dividend for you, at least quarterly, you're going to be getting some cash. Don't reinvest. Please do not reinvest. Take the cash. You want that cash. Even though you're going to be taxed on it, it's going to be taxed at a lower rate for you, and that's what you definitely should do, okay? So you want the passive income. You can also invest in different types of real estate, everything from just a few $1,000s, okay? You don't need to spend big money, I assure you, to get into things that are technically real estate but are not homes, okay? I'm just going to say that. Get into that type of thing, because when you've got passive income coming through, that's what your key, that's what your goal is, not to save a big nest egg and hope it's there one day. You need monthly checks, okay? Money. And like a pension, for example, you disappear, that money is gone with you. But if you put it into something like a piece of real estate or whatever it might be, that's going to pay you now. It's going to pay the people, your children, or whoever leaving your assets to. Okay, these are the things that you need to be thinking of. Just some thoughts. that I had, wanted to share them with you. I talk more about them in my books. I've also got a free e-course which may be of use to you. You can get that at themoneygps.com. Just click on the free e-course link. Lots of stuff to learn in there. I also have another playlist actually on YouTube called How to End Solutions. That might also be of service to you. Check them both out. Lots of free stuff for you. And I'll end it there. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it helps to support the channel. I do appreciate that. And if you want the financial education that was not taught to you in schools, these two books have it all. If you want to be able to ask those questions to your financial advisor, these two books are going to give you the foundation, the knowledge, and the actual ability to do what you need to do. There's no jargon. There's no sort of confusing language in this at all. I've removed it all, and I even, in the introduction, give you all the terms which you may not be aware of. There's just a handful that would be used throughout the book, and it gives you an idea, okay, that's what this is, I understand now. So it's very, very simple, very easy to read books. Check them out, link is in the description. If you're more interested in the audiobook version, you can get that at themoneygps.com.